Hi, I'm Pantazi. Today we're going to be talking about Hohan Sokens' arm target called Naishoho. Now, Naishoho is also labeled by Hohan Soken as the pulsing spot. Now, this pulsing spot is attacked by a fist, okay, and a shiken, which is a single knuckle fist, and I'll get into that more in the film in a second. Okay, the dagger and other weapons like the hammer fist, the tui, etc. And he says its effect is it's a fainting target. And now this fainting target is because it attacks the nerve and the artery. And he says this, okay, so here he's not saying, and he has never stated in his notes, or it is not listed, that these are pressure points. They're anatomical targets. He's always talking about the nerves or the arteries or the organs, etc., the joints, for example. So these are real targets. Now, let's get into the shiken. This is called many different things in many different styles. It's called shiken, it's called shoken, it's called phoenix eye fist, trigger finger, etc. It's a single knuckle fist. Now, this single knuckle fist could also be this, and some people call this different than what they call this, but it's a single knuckle fist, okay? Which means that's the attack surface, the single knuckle, okay? Now, that could be a single knuckle fist too, using the blood pool hand, but I digress. Except for when we get into the demonstration, I will be using the blood pool because this is a blood target, and why not use the blood pool hand? Anyway, as we're getting into this fist, I've mentioned this on many different past videos. When you're using the shoken, shiken, whatever you call it, okay, many people think of this as a ballistic attack. They don't always think about the yin and the yang. Yes, you can have a concussive outward attack, but how about a compressive inner attack when you're grabbing onto the target itself? So there's many different ways you can utilize this. Now, in the demonstrations, we're going to show you the proper trajectory, the tool. We won't be using the single knuckle fist in this method. I will be using a compressive type of an action against this target as well as a striking action with this single knuckle from the blood pool hand. Now, this is going to be akin, the way that I'm going to cause the concussive attack is I'm going to grab onto the arm and hit the target. Now, that is in a lot of different styles in many different ideas. It's even in the opening bow of many different styles. You could do it this way as you're coming out with more of a Chinese salute. You can do it this way if you're doing karate type of an attack. It doesn't matter the style of the attack as long as we're attacking this target correctly. Now, this target has two different trajectories. Again, this is also invaluable for healing methods, and I can explain why a little bit more in the description. But what happens is when you strike it a certain way, you're going to get a jolt of an electricity attacking the nerve, okay, because that's all you can access in this particular way to affect the physiology of the body. Now, when you get that electrical jolt, it is a very painful one, and you can pass out, you can get nauseous, many different things that can happen with this. Now, when we do it with a different trajectory, what you're going to do is you're going to get the fainting effects because you're affecting not only the nerve structure, but the blood vessel that lies right behind it. Nerves are typically in front of the arteries and the veins because the nerves are there to get a withdrawal reflex, feel the pain, pull away, to protect the more vulnerable structures. Now, nerves are pretty resilient. You cut the nerve, you have numbing. No big deal. You cut the artery, you have bleeding, that's a big deal. All right, so there's escalations, and the body by nature understands these escalations and seeks to protect you. So again, that's why the nerve would be up front easier to access, a little different trajectory. When you want to go deeper and get a different effect, the fainting effect, then you're going to work with a different trajectory to get not only to the nerve, but also to the blood vessel, and twist it, stretch it, compress it, lacerate it in some particular way to get that result. Now, this is not a fatal target, but it will cause the blood pressure to drop rapidly, cause the opponent or the recipient of this attack to faint. And that's why Hohan Soken has labeled it a fainting target. It's great to know not only for your striking arts, but also for your grappling arts. Now, all these targets on the arms are really great for grappling because they're working. That's what you're working with in a grounded situation or a standing clinch situation. You can work it from chisao or sticky hands or that dynamic range of combat as well. So we have many different ways that we can use these targets, but knowing the arms, which is coming forward toward you first in the attack, the body always follows, and you have to get past these tools to get to the core of the person, the opponent. Then they're invaluable to know. Hohan Soken has 7 of them, and we're going over the 7 arm knockouts that he has in his notes. If you want to see these notes, join the extended videos here on YouTube, go to the Patreon channel, or join the Platinum subscription, where we go into the extended videos that have the anatomical research on a 3-dimensional model, so we can dig deep into the body, move it around to see the angles, the trajectories, what lies on top of the other, because looking at the body, you can't really understand this unless you're have a medical education. If you're looking at pressure points, which are just dots on a surface of a 2-dimensional drawing, you can't envision the target and get a full understanding of this as well. So what you want to do is get into that real anatomical study and go deep into the body. And when you're working with that, then you'll see the demonstrations and you'll see the effects it has on the body, how the technique was applied, and the time delay between the result and the attack. And you can monitor better and have a greater understanding of that target and how to apply it in your particular art. And then you can go out and you can train it just that much better and get the results for yourself, and it becomes instantly an experience, which means you can actually use it in real combat. If it's only up in your head, you don't know if that's coming out or not in combat. But if you've got it in your hands, you've already done it, and your hands naturally go to those targets, then it's going to be there for you. This is Naishoho, one of the targets of Hohan Soken.